Count the ballots within 24 hours, period, full stop. That rule has been the hard and fast law of the Lone Star State for a long time. This primary week, every county in Texas, including the population centers of Dallas, Bexar, Tarrant, and Travis, easily beat the deadline. As for Harris County, well, that's a much different, much more disturbing story. In this jurisdiction of nearly 5 million citizens, machine malfunction, inadequate staffing, incomplete training, supply shortages, and a baffling inability to competently process redundant paper ballots all collided at dysfunction junction. The result, Harris County failed to meet the statutory deadline, taking 30 hours to accomplish what nearly all others managed in a third of that time, triggering a lawsuit from the local Republican Party.
Quite frankly, this is the worst performance of an election official I've seen in 40 years.
We see it every election. This is actually very typical for Harris County. It's a big county.
What we're looking at here is a slower but more accurate and more secure process.
Panel, Beth Stevens, Chief Director of Voting for Harris County's recently formed Independent Election Division, gave her crew a generous grade of B+ for their performance despite failing to comply with Texas law. Let's go ahead and get started with Bill King. There's been a development this weekend, right, Bill?
Well, it was overnight, actually. Jasper Shear at the Chronicle tweeted out, and then Channel 11 reported there was apparently a statement by Harris County late last night, late on a Saturday night, that somehow they didn't count 10,000 votes, that there's another 6,000 Democratic ballots, Democratic primary ballots, and another 4,000 Republican. And, there are some state house races that were handled by a handful of votes. And so, this could absolutely change the outcome of some of these elections. Some people have already conceded. I mean, let me tell you what, I'm a little bit older than Paul. I've been working in Houston elections since 1972. So I think that's 50 years if I'm doing the math correct. And I started working when I was 5, of course. But I've never seen anything even vaguely as incompetent as this. It's just unbelievable. I don't see any, I don't see any partisan advantage one way or the other. This was just gross incompetence. And here's the problem. When we had elected officials handling this, you could take it out on them and go to the poll and vote against them. The people that are running it now are appointed by commissioners' courts. The only people you can take this out on are members of commissioners' court, and there's 3 of those that voted for this.
All right, Tamara Bell, no one spends more time at the polls than you. What's your take?
Listen, at 7 a.m. this started at West Gray, the largest poll in Harris County. None of the Democratic machines were working over there. At a Republican poll out in A-Leaf, their machines, not only were they not working, first they got the machines, then they got the scanners, then they got the paper. Then they ran out of paper, had to use 11 by 14, and if you use that, the bottom of your ballot is cut off. That's all unbelievable, but damn, 10,000 votes not counted that you just found late Saturday night? What the hell? 6,000 Democrats, 4,000 Republicans. I'm telling you, we got House races that were decided by less than 100 votes. You have people who are conceded. You have people who paid money, hired runoff staff. We got 3 more elections coming up. You have a special election to replace Garnett Coleman. You have another runoff election across the whole county. Then you got a general election. Who the hell can see incompetency? Incompetency cannot do this, and it don't work, okay? It doesn't work. She needs to go.
Sue Lovell, you have lots of experience as a precinct chair. What's your take on this?
It was terrible. It was just embarrassing. It was terrible. And somebody that can't do that job, and obviously it's a very hard job. And obviously the current administrator cannot. And when that happens, especially something as important as people's votes, and then you find 10,000 later, there are so many races in the balance. I think it's time to say thank you for your service, but we really do need to find someone that can handle this job and handle it well. This is too important, and say thank you for your service.
All right. That was scathing, and I haven't even gotten to the Republican yet. Go, Gary Pollan.
Well, if you remember, I said that Ms. Longoria was not qualified to do this job. I hate to say I told you so, but I was absolutely right. This election was chaos, okay? And it's not partisan. We have 254 counties in Texas. The only county that had a messed up primary is Harris County. And we allegedly hired professionals to do this. Well, they failed. The way things work in real life is you fail, you're gone. So she can resign or she should be fired. And the top staff there need to go with her. And we need to hire some real professionals who know what they're doing before our elections turn to total chaos. I mean, my concern about 10,000 lost votes, that could be ballot fraud going on in either primary. That's a bad thing. But this all goes to the seat of the county judge, Lena Hidalgo. Lena handpicked this person. The buck stops there. And the voters get a chance to vote on her in November, and they need to send her packing. She has failed once again.
All right, Tony Diaz. Final word goes to you. And you're committed to the democratic process, and it didn't work really well.
So they screwed up. Yes. Can they fix it? They have to, or heads will roll. But it really is rich to see the Republicans demand someone quit or apologize. They have no moral ground to stand on, because in the Republican Party, unless you're indicted or under FBI investigation, oh wait, never mind. That doesn't solicit an apology or quitting. On the other hand, I am happy that they're trying harder. Now, they need to get those votes, of course. I'm glad they screwed up and are acknowledging it. They had new rules. I do like the paper trail. It takes longer. I had to be educated on it. It's a long process. I do like that there's a backup for that. I don't like that the Republicans, we're not talking about all the votes that were in early voting by mail that are lost as well. That's more sinister, because that's a law. You can't fire someone for that. That's a law that's got to be changed at the legislative level.
Okay, we're going to talk more about this. Still to come, a deeper dive into the statewide winners and losers of Tuesday's primary election. And in our Sunday survey, we're asking viewers if the multitude of problems and delayed returns should cost Harris County Election Administrator Isabel Longoria her job. Let us know what you think. Go to fox26houston.com and click on the poll at the top of the homepage. Or you can use our news app, click on Vote Now in the sections list. But up next, we're hearing from Democrats who claim any miscues in Tuesday's primary should be blamed on Republican-sponsored election reform. Stay with us. Watch Your Point. We'll be right back.
So we are here today to expose the hypocrisy of the Republican Party.
We told them that the laws that they passed would create these massive delays. Why are we surprised?
Democratic State Representative Jean Wu engaging in some blame shifting for the dysfunction in Tuesday's primary. Pamela, you heard it. Wu says Republican-sponsored election reform set Harris County up to fail. You buy that, Bill King?
That is one of the worst pieces of dissembling I've ever heard in my life. These delays had absolutely nothing to do with SB1, whether you like it or dislike it. It had nothing to do with this. And the way we know that is 253 other counties in the state ran their election under SB1, and they reported their results on time. Zach Despard has a good story in the Chronicle. He outlines that all 5 other major counties operating under exactly the same law all got their votes counted within a few hours. None of them took 18 hours. And by the way, none of them lost 10,000 votes.
Tony, that sounds like a pretty good argument.
Well, I tell you what, for blame shifting, I think the Democratic Party has to take this head on. You got to break it down. And everyone's giving them step-by-step consulting of how this went wrong. They have to look that in the eye. But I do not dismiss the idea that Harris County is the target of every Republican in the state and looking for everything that can go wrong and will go wrong. So it takes us away from a serious discussion. I want every election to go smoothly. We're not in a bipartisan moment in our state or the nation. But at the end of the day, I would like for every voter to feel that their vote's safe. It will be counted, And let's talk about voter suppression profoundly.
Tomorrow, I can't help but remember they took this job away from 2 elected female Democrats. Correct?
Hell, I can't either. I can't forget that either. They took it away from 2 elected, competent women, Ann Bennett Harris and Tanisha Hudspeth, and created this monster. And like Sue said, this is not the damn kind of job you get training wheels for. You got to come in knowing what you're doing. You don't practice being an elections administrator while you on the job. You don't. You screw up, you get up. That's what needs to happen, because that is what happened. And this ain't got a damn thing to do with SB1, which I hate, which sucks, which is why so many absentee ballots got disqualified. But counting them, that ain't got a damn thing to do with that.
Final 30 seconds to you, Gary.
Well, look, basically we have children in charge, and that would be Hidalgo and Longoria. And when children are in charge, they don't take responsibility, they make excuses, and that's what they've done. So what do we need to do? It's clear. We need to really, I actually would agree with Tamara, send it back to the elected officials. Let them do the job. Bring the people that are nonpartisan basis who know what they're doing. Otherwise, we have election chaos and excuses. And accountability matters. One other thought I have to mention, Greg. We spent a record amount of money for this primary. Harris County did. And we saw the dismal results we got.
All right, we're going to leave it there.